what was your first, uh, what was your first business? What was your first startup? What was your first investment? Tell us a little bit about those first.
Sure. Yeah. So the first startup is a company called IFM Restoration, and it's a single family home maintenance company. And so that company is one that really works on the largest portfolios of single family homes in the US. So it's like institutional grade ownership, and we work on their rentals. And we've done all different parts of that, where we've done rehabs and we've done turns. But the sweet spot for our company was in maintenance, and we were able to build out some proprietary technology around it and around the protocol. And so that company ended up doing really well, had S3 Ventures out of Austin, which is the largest Texas VC invest in us. And that was a really big Series A raise that we did. And so that company's doing really well. And since then, I've had the privilege of buying some companies, scaling companies, selling companies. And so it's been neat. But that was the first. And then the first investment that really took off for me was mobile home parks. So I had some friends that were, investing in single family homes, and that was kind of the thing. And I had a friend that was like, "Hey, I think I'm going to invest in mobile home parks." And I was like, "Man, you're crazy. That doesn't sound like a good investment opportunity." And after some time of researching the numbers and learning it and kind of watching what he did, I was like, "Oh man, this is no joke. Like, your cash flow is better. You can get a whole bunch of units with one fell swoop." It just made so much sense. So I remember thinking, okay, this is so scary. It actually kept me up at night. I was freaking out, like making my first investment into something like this. It's a big deal. But I also knew that if it went well, based on the numbers I had drawn out, my wife wouldn't have to work anymore. It would replace her income. And so that's what we did. I bought this first park, and it replaced her income. She could be a
And
stay-at-home mom.
what type of money did you like? What did you invest that? And the people are listening right now or watching right now on YouTube, and they're thinking like, what does it take to invest in something like that? So what did you put up that first investment?
So with mobile home parks, like anything else, like any type of real estate, you could have a small property, you can have a large property. So the numbers vary. For me, my very first one was a $65,000 down payment. And that was a big deal at that time. And to a lot of people, it's still a big deal. But I'm telling you, that kept me up at night. And I just remember that. I remember thinking, am I crazy? Should I be doing this? I remember wake up in the night sweating, like, what am I doing? What am I like? Is this the right move? And finally, I was like, you know what? I got to get past my fear of the unknown. If other people have done it, and I'm going to just copy what they do, then I can do it too. And maybe I won't do it as well, but I'll do it well enough to make money. And that was it. And I just logically, I knew that. Emotionally, I had to trust my gut, and I had to trust my mind.
And the good news is that in the United States, they do not take you to jail if you go bankrupt.
That's right.
So, what allowed me to take lots of risks over my life is I always remembered that. I always remembered that I cannot go to jail for losing everything. And by the way, if I lose everything, I can always start over. I can always do it again. I can always give it another shot. And because of that, the willing to take risks, because without risk, there is no wealth. It's just not humanly possible to be able to not take risk and become wealthy, or to change your life in a meaningful way. And so, as far as like, I want to kind of dive into the book a little bit, The Lifestyle Investor. And I see, you guys that are listening, he's got a lot of books in back of him right now. So it's a little clue, right? I see Rich Dad, Poor Dad in there somewhere. There's a little clue to that. Success leaves clues. Winners, people that have become successful, they read, they listen, they learn, they get better. Matter of fact, it's nonstop. I am literally on YouTube every single day of my life. I'm not a big reader, but I'm a big YouTuber. I'm a big, I like to, and I also do audible.com. But I mean, how important is it that people continue to self-improve, and how much do you think you've invested into self-improvement over all of these years?
Yeah, so I mean, I know what I've invested in it. I've calculated it. It's over $1 million that I have invested into myself and into my education. So it's a significant investment, and it sounds like a lot. Like a lot of people are like, they might think, well, I don't have that kind of money. It wasn't that. It wasn't like I just ponied up $1 million. It was a little bit over a period of time, and when I didn't have as much, I just would always invest a portion of whatever I made into self improvement and into my education. And it's so funny to me. Sometimes people will go to college and they'll pay, $40,000, $60,000 to go to school to, like, in most cases, not even use what they learned. But then when it comes to like investing $5,000 into their own education, they're like, oh, that's a lot of money. But it's not if it's going to the place that can amplify returns. So I'm a big reader. And a lot of my original mentors are authors because I didn't know where to get mentors from. Like my network, who I wanted to become, that's not who I hung out with. The people that I knew didn't have the jobs that I wanted to have. I didn't know any investors growing up. I didn't even know any entrepreneurs outside of one of my friend's dads, who, like, he came later in life. That was in high school. So to me, I had to find them through the people that I read. And I mean, I don't know where I would be without books. I read a ton. I read every day, literally every day of my life. I read, and I'm an avid reader of just. I don't even do a whole lot of fiction. I mean, I'm a nonfiction. I'm a content, and I love getting into some good YouTube stuff on content too. Don't get me wrong. And I love Audible. I think Audible is a game changer. YouTube and Audible are both game changers for education. But I'll easily consume 50 to 100 books a year, no problem. And my peak year, my biggest year, was 173 books, and
Wow.
that was like a reading challenge. So that's an
That's
abnormal year.
Yeah, but that's fantastic. And again, there's no secrets anymore, I would think. I mean, there's not a whole lot of secrets anymore. It's just, attaching yourself to somebody that's already done it. Because every single time I've made good investment decisions, it's because I've done my homework, I've listened to people that have already done it, and I've just tried to, like, I'm not afraid of copying people. Like, I have no, like, there's zero ego, for me at least, in copying somebody. If I think you're better than me in that certain area, I will snap that knowledge at it, steal that knowledge from you. I'll, tap into those brain cells, and then I will use that to my benefit. And the truth is, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, successful people have been doing that for a million years. And so, look, I want to dive in. I want to hear a couple of these, commandments, as you call them, and I want to hear what they are, and kind of give us a little bit of content on that.
Sure. Yeah. And by the way, just side note, you said, I don't think there's anything wrong with copying. I'd say that there's everything right with copying, right? Why reinvent something when you don't have to? You might as well perfect the thing that someone else has already perfected. And if you want to innovate, wait till you've perfected what they're doing, because you already know it works. So the trial and error doesn't even need to happen, right? You're bypassing what probably took this person you're copying years to figure out and a lot of money to figure out. So I think it's the most intelligent thing you can do to copy someone else that has the playbook. Hence the
Because all my teachers, I used to get in trouble for that. I mean, I used to copy in class, and I used to get sent to the principal's office, and then they didn't tell me that one day I'm going to be a proficient copier. Thank you for watching our short clips on Alonzo Academy. If you'd like to watch the next short clip, click here. If you'd like to watch the entire podcast, click here.